HR के मुंह पे अपना लैपटॉप मार के आऊंगा. The second key point is that you must invest like rich. Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. So recently you might have watched the news or read the news that there is a very famous Indian Bollywood actress and she bought a house back in 2015 for 31 crores. And recently she sold that house for 32 crores. So people are making fun of her. Yaar, isse acha aap FD kara lete. What kind of dumb investment is this? But let me tell you that she is a real estate genius. Why am I saying it? Now, I am not telling you the name of the actress, otherwise I'll get personally sued. So back to the story. So this is what happens in real estate, that there is a lot of black money involved. And rich people know how to play this game. So basically what would have happened in this story was that the person would not have sold this house for 32 crores. She would have sold this house for 50 crores. Now 32 is the white money component that is there on paper. Rest 18 crores is black money component. Now zero taxes paid on the black money component, and even on that 32 crores, now because she has bought that house for 31 crores, there is a gain of 1 crore. Even on that 1 crore, no tax would have been paid. Why is that? Because this is called as indexation benefits. Now what is indexation benefit? Well, let's pick the example of this property and compare it with real estate, and then I will tell you that how middle class gets messed up but rich people benefit from these type of indexation rules. So in indexation what happens is that if you purchased a property, let's say today at 1 crore rupee, then let's say in 2 years you sell that property for 1.5 crores. So what is your profit? Your profit is 50 lakhs. So ideally you should be paying a wealth gain tax on that 50 lakh. But what happens due to indexation is that people say that, you know what, because of inflation, the property price would have also gone up. So the government revises the circle rate, and instead of paying tax on that 50 lakh appreciation, you would only end up paying taxes on maybe like 35, 40 lakhs, whatever the government decides. Now guess where middle class parks their money? They would mostly park their money in fixed deposit where they are not getting any indexation benefits. Where do you think rich people park their money? They buy this type of real estate and end up paying zero taxes. So the actress story that I was trying to tell you, it was a simple message to put across the point that the systems in the world, not just in our country, are designed in such a way where rich people benefit. Now this is not something new, right? This is something that all of us know. Now let's move to the bottom of the strata of the society. Now in India, you would have seen that there are a lot of benefits. For example, poor people can get in line, get treated at AIIMS or a bunch of other hospitals. Of course, you have to wait a lot. Yes, they deserve it. I'm not trying to take away those advantages. I'm simply trying to communicate the point that systems in our countries are built in such a way that it benefits the rich and it benefits the poor. In the middle is the middle class, which keeps on getting crushed. Going forward, this middle class is going to get crushed even more. So on this video, I'm going to speak about two systematic points as to number one, what are 5 key reasons why this is happening and what are the areas you need to worry about. In second part, I'm going to present some solutions as to if you're stuck in this middle class, what is it that you precisely need to do to preserve lakhs and lakhs of money that you're going to lose in the future if you get stuck in this middle class. Going forward, the situation is going to be really bad. Please listen carefully to this video and also check out our sponsors for today, which is Smallcase. It is a wonderful way of investing in the stock market and growing your wealth. So you can do theme-wise investments, and I'm linking some of my favorite small cases in the comment box and you can go and check them out. So making money as a middle class person is becoming more difficult with time. Now, what do I mean by that? For example, if you rewind the time, go and speak with your parents, what they will tell you is, yaar, achhi padhai kar lo, right? You work hard, you get into a good college, you get a good job, and that good job used to pay you a lot of money. And there was a stark difference between people who were in the middle class versus the lower strata of the society. I'm not talking about ultra rich people because they are anyways rich, so they will anyways keep on making money. So we are not comparing that part of the society. Now with time, what has started to happen is that the middle class jobs have started to pay less. A classic case in point is that compare the salaries of, let's say, TCS 10 years ago versus now and compute how much has it grown by. The short answer is that it has not grown much. On the flip side, if you compare jobs where not too much skill is required, for example, if you want to drive like Ola, Uber, or if you want to become a Swiggy, Zomato delivery person, then you can do these jobs. It is not a very high skill job per se. You need to be hardworking, and these jobs are also paying reasonably well. So the gap between the middle class and the lower strata of the society has started to come down. And as a result, I feel that going forward in the future, the size of the middle class will be really, really low. Either you are going to be very rich or you are going to fall in that lower strata of the society. Another trend at play is the number of jobs that you can pursue in one time. For example, if you're doing a corporate job, all this stuff will happen that you can't do like multiple jobs, you can't build like parallel income, this, that. But if you go and meet people who are driving like Ola, they will drive Ola in the morning, they will drive Uber at night. They might also be doing some kind of deliveries. So people are doing multiple jobs from the lower strata of the society and getting richer. But on the flip side, the middle class people, the traditional middle class jobs, which were corporate jobs, those are paying lesser and lesser with time. And this middle middle class poor divide is getting abridged, and going forward this trend is only going to accelerate. Now when it comes to middle class, saving taxes becomes really tough. So let me walk you through some examples. Ultra elite in India, what they typically do is that they are not parking their money just in like mutual funds. They have like hedge fund managers who invest their money in wide variety of assets. Their tax treatment is also better. Sometimes you would have seen that people like Mr. Warren Buffett, they end up paying lesser income tax compared to their secretaries. So this type of stuff happens in India also. Why is that the case? Because most of the rich people own some kind of business. So there are a lot of tax advantages that comes with it. A classic case in point is the GST equation in India. So for example, if I go on Amazon and try to buy a laptop, I will straight away get an 18% rebate on that because I'm a digital entrepreneur. I can buy that product legally in India and claim GST input credit on it. But you as a normal salaried people or a normal salaried middle class person, it might be very tough for you to save these type of taxes. So straight away you are paying 18% more tax. Let me give you another example. For example, if you're a salaried middle class person in India, even before you get your money, let's imagine that your salary is 1 lakh rupee and that is the amount of money you should be getting. First, kya hoga? That you will have to pay TDS. Whatever TDS is cut, then the money will hit your bank account. And that is the amount of money that you will end up having. But on the flip side, if you're managing a business, then doing tax planning and saving taxes legally becomes much more efficient. Now let's talk about investment product. So I earlier gave you the example on the video about a famous actress buying a house and offsetting her taxes, so to say. Do you get these type of rebates or indexation benefits in fixed deposits? The answer is no. Where majority of the middle class invest their money, the majority invest in fixed deposits. Similarly, you'll say कि ठीक है यार, घर नहीं खरीद सकते तो क्या हुआ? We can go in equities, we can go in mutual funds and try to save our taxes. There also indexation benefits are not there. Now you'll say that no, Akshat, that is not correct. There are something called as equity linked saving schemes. उसमें we can claim 80C deduction, this deduction, that deduction. Yes, but check for how long these 80C and other limits that has been prescribed, they have stayed intact. So these are 10-year-old. Their limits have also not been increased. Has the inflation increased? Yes, 100%. So I'm not trying to get into a rant, but think about it that all the structures that are available for middle class people, it is very hard for them to start their business. The entire tax structure is designed in such a way that first you pay the government and then you get your money. So all these becomes extremely frustrating points for the middle class and it keeps them poor. You let me know in the comment box that is this situation going to get better or worse? And do consider sharing this video because the budget session is coming up. Probably this is going to be a very important budget. Next year is the election year. So maybe if we start building some pressure on the government, at least for a couple of years, we might see a lot of benefit. So the key problem that the middle class faces today, and this problem is going to go up with time, is the aspiration problem. Aspiration problem simply means that we want more and more and more. Bigger house, bigger ghoda, bigger gaadi, this, that, right? Now, this is basically being propagated by the Instagram culture that a lot of youth right now, if you are somewhere between like 15 to 25 group, you have been curated or your brain has been cultivated in such a way that you keep on getting stressed about what other people have rather than what you have. If you are making like, let's say 1 lakh rupee, you are probably the richest 5% people in India. But are you happy? Majority of the cases, the answer will be no. This is an aspiration problem and this problem is only extrapolating with time. Now, if you think about rich people or ultra rich people, for example, Adanis, Ambanis, and the likes, or people who are making like in excess of maybe like 15 lakh rupees a month, they can fulfill almost 99.99% of their aspirations. If you speak about the bottom strata of the society, their aspiration is कि यार survival के लिए चीजें हो जाएं and we are good with that. But when it comes to the middle class, that is precisely where the problem lies because we want much more than the resources that we have and that kind of stresses us out. Key problem that the middle class is facing right now is the expense problem. What I'm trying to communicate is, let's see, you might have heard of something called as inflation. That is a government officiated number, but expenses go up for different items very differently. For example, if you consider food inflation happens slightly differently. If you talk about medical inflation, that is roughly 14% this year, 1/4, and the general level inflation is 7%. So that is almost 2x. Similarly, if you consider education, then the inflation is much higher there. So to cut the long story short, the price rise is happening much faster for the middle class compared to the lower end of the society. Now you will say that, okay, rich लोगों के लिए भी तो हो रहा है inflation. Yes, it is true, but I don't think that Adani ji will stress about if his grocery bill 3x's or 4x's, right? So yes, inflation can be a problem for the rich class also, and it is happening there as well. But the rise in inflation or general rise in priciness of certain things is hitting the middle class more. Now consider, for example, this chart. What you would notice is, and this is something that you will see from your own example also, that education. For example, when I was in class 10th and 12th, my school fee was 500 rupees in class 12th, and I was going to a decent private school. Now consider the inflation that has happened in just school fees. And who do you think avails the most amount of education? It is unfortunately or fortunately the middle class, and therefore the expenses for them is growing at a much faster rate compared to any other strata of the society in India, and this becomes a real problem. So the final point why I feel that the middle class is going to suffer even more in the future is the extent of confusion. So let's say that you want to go to Delhi and you are in Goa, you will have to go towards north. So you are taking a right journey, and someday you will reach there. So that confusion is less, therefore you are able to move in the right direction. Now what is happening with the middle class right now is that we are confused about so many things. Yaar, paisa dalna hai, kahan dalna hai, where to invest? If we have to study, should we go abroad or not go abroad? Should I quit my job? Should I experiment with business? Should I go on Shark Tank? Should I do this? Should I invest my money in FD? There's so much confusion going on around every single thing. So that clarity of thought is not there, and we don't know in which direction we are going. And if we don't know in which direction we are going, it just stresses us out. We are unhappier. We don't know what to do with our life. We feel a little bit dejected, and that creates a bunch of problems for us in terms of gaining our focus and doing anything productive. Now think about rich people. That rich people have a very clear plan कि भाई business ही करना है. मम्मी पापा ने business बना दिया. Now I have to just take it over or whatever I want to do with it. On the flip side, people who are not from a very affluent family, who are in that bottom strata of the society, they also have a very clear goal. So we will work hard and we will progress. So clarity is there with the rich class. Clarity is still to a very large extent there with the lower end segment of the society, but that clarity is missing in the middle class. And unless you can think clearly and sort your brain out first, you will not know which direction to take, and it creates a lot of problem for people. And this trends with more and more information coming in, it only accelerates with time. So I have spoken about a lot of problems, and you might be feeling a little bit jittery and unhappy. So what is the solution, right? So I'll discuss 3 practical solutions with you. So first and foremost solution is that you must emulate the rich. This is something that I keep on saying. Let's see, if you want to become a cricketer, follow what Virat Kohli is doing. If you want to become rich, follow any rich person, what they are doing. But what precise skill you need to pick? Because if you just randomly go and follow Mark Cuban, he might be investing in like blockchain, Web 3.0 projects, and if you know nothing about that, so what is it that you need to think about? Okay, so you need to think about 3 things. One is that you need to keep an eye out on what you can build. What is the meaning of building? Meaning of building is that, okay, writing a book is building a book. Similarly, creating an online business is building an online business. Creating a physical business is building some kind of business. So depending on your interest, your motivation, figure out and identify rich people, what they are building and whether or not that aligns with you. Another related point here will be that you need to know how to sell. When I say the word sales, when I try to plug in my courses on my YouTube video, people say, course bech rahe ho, this, that, you know, what kind of a person you are. Okay, you tell me, you are doing a job. You are also doing some sales for some company, right? And you are working for them. They are doing some sales. Similarly, all of us, if we want to live in this world, we have to do sales. It is as simple as that. So please do not feel iffy about selling. Learn what sales techniques are. You don't need to trick people to buy your products. You need to offer some value. You need to identify what are the missing pieces in the market. Give an honest pitch about whatever you're doing. So on this note, do check out my courses also. No one likes selling stuff, but that is how the world operates. Even if you're working for a firm, they are paying you salary because they eventually sell something to someone. See, once you have done these 2 things, then the third step here comes that you need to learn how to scale things. This is an area where I am also personally investing my time learning that how to scale businesses, how to scale content creation, how to scale, right? I mean, scale simply means that you are at level 10. You want to take it up to level 100. I'm good at building products. I'm good at creating that initial sales, doing bunch of different things, etc., etc. But scaling is something that I'm still learning with time. I'm young, so hopefully I'll be able to pick up that thing and I'll be able to teach it to all of you as well. The second key point is that you must invest like rich. Okay, so I hope you were able to read my lips because, you know, the neighbor is around, so I can't say much. Okay, so anyways. So you must learn how to invest like rich. What does that mean? See, many a times people get like super miffed that, you know what, stock investing क्यों सीखनी है, real estate क्यों सीखना है, mutual fund क्यों सीखना है, वगैरह वगैरह, crypto, why do you talk about crypto, why not like this then that. See, billionaires have been made in real estate, billionaires have been made in cryptos, billionaires have been made in equities, billionaires have been made in mutual funds. The point is that you must learn how to invest across all these different asset classes. I'm not saying that you must learn about all the asset classes. Get comfortable with some, then move to something else. But to cut the long story short, don't consider any asset to be sacrosanct. What is the meaning of sacrosanct? That is the word of the day. Let me know in the comment box. But don't consider any asset to be pure or impure. Through all the assets, you can make money. It depends on your comfort level, what you are comfortable learning, what your investing style is. So get an overview of investing and then refine your investing style with time. It is an experience. So when you start investing, you will make a lot of mistakes. You will learn things with time. You will refine your investing skill. All these are practical points that I'm telling you. And this is genuinely, honestly, I'm passing on to you. You will never hear from a rich person that they're refusing to learn about an asset class. Third solution to increase your wealth or become rich and avoid that middle class trap would be that you learn how to take risk. Now, risk taking does not mean that you don't know swimming and you jump in the school. And yeah, bad things happen. So please don't do that. That is not what sensible risk taking is. But that also does not mean that you never learn swimming. So I hope I was able to explain this simple point about risk taking. One of the best things that my parents did for me was that they allowed me to take risk and cultivate my own risk taking appetite. So start experimenting with small things. For example, if you are in a college, then try to experiment, do a little bit of entrepreneurship, start a club, contribute more towards a club. So these are small risk taking steps that you can do. Now people try to make these big jumps. Yeah, नौकरी में मजा नहीं आ रहा है. I will just leave my job tomorrow. HR के मुंह पे अपना laptop मार के आऊंगा. This that, right? And then yeah, that is not what risk taking is. Okay, so please don't do all this nonsense stuff. Risk taking simply means that you are sensible in terms of analyzing your risk reward equation and accordingly learning how to invest, what type of career moves to make, what type of things you should be spending your time on learning versus not learning. Whether we like it or not, we have two options. One is that we stay put, do nothing, we will fall in that poor category with time. It is definitely going to happen. Or we start executing the things that I just spoke about and you can move to that rich class. If you enjoyed this video, do subscribe to this channel and press the like button and I will see you soon.